Welcome to the Peacecast, where we discuss ways to find peace in the midst of tragedies. Each week, we bring you stories of those who have walked through the fire and pain and have experienced the unexplainable peace that only God can bring. Here is your host, Michelle Bader.
Welcome to episode 9 of the Peacecast. This is Michelle Bader, and I will not only be your host today, but I'll be the one being interviewed and the interviewer and all that. I'm going to share with you, I know I did in episode 1, I shared with you about peace through cancer, and kind of along the same lines, I'm going to be sharing with you peace through hospice. We have recently changed from palliative care over to hospice care, and I'm just going to share with you a little bit of an update. This is kind of, for friends and family to be a little more updated than just some posts, and it's also for you, the listeners, to kind of know what's going on in our life and to share some ways that I have found peace. And by the way, this is episode 9, and I have loved all the other episodes. It has been so much fun to get to know other people and hear stories of peace, and I hope you've been enjoying it as much as I have. I just love getting to hear people's stories, and I have plans for more to come in the future as well, and I'll let you know when I know more about it. I am going to start another daily podcast, just a quick 5-minute devotional kind of podcast that'll probably be starting January 1st. So I'll keep you updated with that. If you are enjoying the Peacecast, if you could take a minute to review it and give it a little 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or wherever you review, that would be awesome. It helps the word to get out about this. And I really do think that, actually, I know I've gotten some great feedback that this is helping people who have had some of the issues that we've talked about in the past. We've talked about death, cancer, being paralyzed, domestic violence, abortion, addiction, motherhood, a whole bunch of things. And I know that these women's stories have been helpful and inspiring. So thanks for supporting us. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a little quick review. If you are new to our show, my husband, Luke, has stage 4 cancer. Oh, here's a common misconception. People think that it is lung cancer because it's in his lungs, but it's actually bone cancer when he was 26 years old. And if you want to know the whole story, tune into episode 1, Peace Through Cancer, and you can hear the whole detailed story. But just the review. He was diagnosed with a very rare bone cancer at age 26. Had chemotherapy, it didn't work. He had his leg amputated, and the cancer was gone until it came back 2 years ago. It's actually been like 2 years and a month since it's been back. And he now has tumors growing in his lungs. So up until last June, he was on treatment, and we found that nothing was working. So he stopped treatment. And that's kind of a hard thing, it's like, yay, we don't have to do any more treatment, but it's like, like the kids say, isn't there anything else they can do? So that was kind of a transition in our heads is, okay, now we are not doing treatment. We are with palliative care, which palliative care is great. Their main goal is to help, keep you comfortable and get you the right pain management, things like that. And we were with them, but sometimes we would have difficulty getting the right medications, and I just felt like I really just wanted him to get his pain under control. Because if you've ever had chronic pain, which I haven't, but I have watched him, it's just awful, when you're constantly in pain and constantly just hurting, it's hard to get through anything. So anyways, I really wanted his pain management to be better. And before we switched to hospice, I didn't really understand it. It was kind of like a big, scary word. So I'm hoping that if you're on the fence about going to hospice, you have a similar situation, that you will see from me that it is a positive thing. So all I had known about hospice before was it was something you did right before you died. That's all I knew about it, that somebody would come in your home. I didn't really understand it. Well, as I learned more, I learned that it's actually VIP care. That's what we call it. It has been the best thing we have done as far as getting the right medicines and a team of people around him. It has been phenomenal. Let me tell you, these hospice people are angels. It was maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I think it was beginning of November. We had a couple people out to our house who did the admittance, admitting us into the program, explaining it, that kind of thing. And then we had our angel hospice nurse come, and she comes once a week, and she's been phenomenal. And the first day that they came, they upped his medication and had it delivered to our door. I mean, talk about VIP care. It's amazing. It's amazing. No longer do I have to stand in line and wait for his medication and there's all kinds of complications. No, they bring it to our house. It's been amazing. I mean, it's like Amazon Prime, right? That's what I've been telling people. It's like Amazon Prime. No, not just Prime, Amazon Prime Now. Like when we were in Disneyland, we would order snacks and things and they would deliver them to our room like 2 hours later. That's what this feels like. We get it to our door. It's awesome. So that's kind of what I learned about hospice, that this is not scary. It doesn't mean you're going to die right away. It means that you have a team of people who are there for you. Like no longer do I feel alone in this. Like I feel so supported. The hospice nurse calls me all the time just to see how things are going, to check on me. Today, in addition, I had the hospice nurse call as well as the social worker just to see how things are going. How can he help? I've had the chaplain call me. The doctor came over. And what I love is they are all like, their goal is to help us. That's their goal. They're here to help. And once we got that, it was like, oh, I felt like it was drowning, not knowing how to help Luke and what to do. And then all of a sudden someone threw me a life preserver and was like, here you go. We're here to help you. And so that has been absolutely phenomenal. So hospice is a good thing. Okay. I just want you to know that if you ever have to face it, like if that's a place where you're at and you could use the help, please get the help. They are so helpful. I mean, absolutely amazing. So that's been one of the biggest things that's happened with us recently. I've had peace through this transition to hospice because I've been able to see it as a life preserver and a team of people like angels that God has sent to us so that we can get through this. They're here to support us with whatever we need for all of us, and for us emotionally, for Luke physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of that. So that's the first thing I wanted to share on how I was able to find peace in moving to hospice is, you know what? It's just VIP care and they reevaluate you every 6 months. It doesn't mean like, this is the end. It just means we have people to help. So I'm not scared of hospice anymore. I absolutely love them. Like I'm almost crying. That's how much I love them because I don't feel like I have to figure this out when it's scary and I don't know what's happening, and it's great. So that's been good. So, Luke's he's got a lot of pain medicine. So we're working with that to get that correct, which is awesome. Some other things kind of going on, which has been amazing, is so our two big worries were Luke's pain and finances. So we got his pain, we're getting it under control. We're working closely with the doctor and nurses to get that figured out. And then financially, if you don't know, I am a teacher. I used to teach full time. I've taught all different grades and different things, and I've done a lot from home. I've taught in China online. I've taught with another company online. I do my own tutoring, but I haven't been able to get a full-time job. I mean, I probably could, but I don't know how I could emotionally handle it. So I'm so super thankful that I'm able to do things right now. This is I was actually just explaining this to the social worker today. This is how I see it. When the kids are at school, that's my time to like refuel my tank. Like I do reading, praying, I do writing every day. I work out when I can, and I really do things to fill up my tank because I know once 3 o'clock comes, I am filling their tanks and driving them around. And I think this is good advice for anyone who can do it, but just with what's going on emotionally, they need more from me than they normally would. And so I fill up my tank during the day and I do things for me. And now I used to feel guilty because I've always been someone who's like had a job and worked hard. If I wasn't like working an actual job in a school, I'm working from home, I'm leading teams, I'm doing all this stuff. So it has been a real step back for me. But what I realized is this is a gift. This is a season. It's not going to be like this forever. But in this season, I get to do things for me so that I can be the best wife and the best mom that I can be. Those are my two number one goals right now. Be the best wife, be the best mom. And if that means I need to take time for myself during the day, I'm going to do it, because it is full blast once they get home from school. With this week, we have dress rehearsals for a show. The kids are in Frozen. We just ended football. There's activities constantly going on. And so I have to be available for them when they get home. So how I'm finding peace is finding time for me. So even if you work full time, I know a lot of people do, try to find something. Like, this is what my counselor always says to me: you have to put on your own oxygen mask before you can put on the mask of those around you. So I want to encourage you, even if you only have 30 minutes a day, find 30 minutes a day. If you enjoy working out, do that. I went on this 30-minute run using this app that coached me yesterday. It was so amazing. And I felt so good afterwards. Sometimes it's taking a bath. Sometimes it's walking or calling a friend or seeing a friend. Figure out what it is for you. I also use this time to see friends. I usually see 3 to 4 friends a week. I know this is a blessing right now, and my life will not always be like this. But since I don't have a job that I go to, I need that social part. So I'm really thankful for that. And kind of going along with the financial part, I had a dear friend, Jill Deichel, who created a Facebook fundraiser for us, and in less than a week raised over $13,000. And that's for our mortgage. And probably a little for Christmas, but mostly for the mortgage, so that we can have that peace of mind knowing for a long time we have the mortgage covered. So I just want to thank any of you that helped with that. That's absolutely amazing. We have a couple different groups that are sponsoring us for Christmas, so that's amazing. We get checks in the mail sometimes. I feel like I'm gonna cry because I feel so thankful that I don't have to stress about working right now, and I get to do things that I love, like podcasting and writing. I'm doing this challenge right now called NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month, the month of November. Every year it's a whole community, it's a whole thing where you write 50,000 words in a month, and that sounded impossible in the beginning, but I'm doing between 1,600 and 2,000 a day. I've missed a little here and there, but I'm all caught up now. I've done 32,000 words. I can't even believe it. And I'm writing a book called Paralyzed Joy, and it really takes a lot of my life and puts it into it. It's basically a woman who gets to see two versions of her life, one where her husband is healthy and happy and everything's like she thought it would be, the other one where he's paralyzed, and she gets to see both versions, chooses, which one to go back to. And it's based on the verse, consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of any kind, something perseverance. I'll put the verse in here. But I should know it since my book is about it. It's called Paralyzed Joy. So anyways, I've been spending time doing that, which has been so good. I mean, I cry sometimes as I'm writing it. I even have this scene. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's my favorite scene. I'm going to cry. I haven't cried in a long time. So this is interesting. While I'm alone in my kitchen talking to my microphone, I'm crying. But I wrote this scene where the main character is walking with Jesus in heaven, and this is based off of the verse. I'll put this in the notes too, about how God actually saves our tears in a bottle. It actually says that. So in this scene, she is getting to see that there's a whole row with her name on it, and he's picking up the bottles and he's saying, this is when this happened. This is when this happened. Even if you felt alone, I was there, and I picked up your tears, and they're right here. I see you. And even though it's a fiction book, it's so therapeutic and so good for me to be writing through these emotions I'm having and these feelings. And yeah. So anyways, I've been doing that for me. And because people have been so generous, and I know some of you are probably listening, so thank you. I'm able to do these things. And someday I know I'll be working full time again, and that's okay. I love working. Well, actually, my dream is to write and speak and do podcasts for a living. So if somehow I can make a living at that, that'd be awesome. But I just feel so blessed because of that. Some other things that have been going on. The kids are doing pretty good. They're 11, 13, and 15. 2 of them involved in an amazing musical theater of Frozen Junior. They're opening that this weekend, so we're excited about that. Hayden just finished football. He's starting, actually all three of them are starting to get involved with youth group at our church, which I love. They're finding support there. And bonus, every Wednesday night when they go, Luke and I get to have a little date. So a lot of people don't realize that. They're like, aren't you home together all day? Well, yes, but he has to rest all day. So I don't really see him. So we don't really get kid free time anymore. So, and when I say date, I don't mean going out. I mean, if there was a miracle and he felt great, yes. But we, like last week we watched a movie, and it's just good to have that time. So I feel super, super blessed to have that time with him. So some other verses that have really stuck out to me is Nahum 1:7. The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him. I love that verse. That's really been awesome recently. It's just like, yeah, he's a refuge for sure. He's where I go when the world seems to be crashing in, Also, Isaiah 54:10. Though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken, nor my covenant of peace be removed, says the Lord who has compassion on you. And I love the visual of everything shaking around us, but God's love never changes, and his peace. That's the biggest thing that I pray. And if you want to pray for us, is just, I pray for peace in our home, that there will be peace. And I just pray that I ask that you can pray for that for us as well, that we can find joy. And we have been. We started watching Christmas movies before Halloween because that's how much, it started from Luke, how much he loves it and how much, we all love it now. And was praying that Thanksgiving will go well next week at Luke's family, and that we'll have a beautiful holiday season, Christmas season, New Year's Eve, Luke's birthday, all of it. That will be good. December 30th is his birthday. So those are some verses. I just started an amazing book. I'm going to put links to all this stuff. It's The Battle Belongs to the Lord by Joyce Myers. I just got it. Meyer, right? Meyer, one of those. And it's just basically about, this is not our battle. This is God's battle. We've already won, and letting God fight the battle for us, but not passively sitting there and not doing anything. It's we do our part and he does his part, I'm seeing that happen in front of me with the finances, the way people have given to us, but I haven't sat back and done nothing. I've always been working and trying to make money and, trying to do all these things to help my family. And God has definitely done his part. And I know he's going to continue to provide for us financially. If I didn't have this season, I wouldn't be doing this podcast if I was working full time, which I'm praying is going out to you and others and helping them. And I wouldn't be writing this book, which I feel is going to help a lot of people. So, I'm just thankful for all that. Anyways, the book is amazing. And then a song that has been something I really love is called Do It Again by Elevation Worship. And I'll put that in the description, just about God can do it again. He moves mountains. It's mountains is kind of the theme. There's just so much that he can do. And another thing I do to find peace is just look for the good each day. I think I've talked about this in a couple other episodes about my manna for today, just looking. Okay, so in Bible times, the Israelites were wandering in the desert and there was no food or anything out there. So God would send them manna, which was a type of food. And they were told to gather only what they could for the day. They needed enough for the day, but not too much. Now, if they gathered more than they needed for the day, it would spoil and worms would go in it and it was not pretty. And so it's just kind of how I also wrote a book called My Manna for Today. It's like a journal. It can be found on Amazon. And it's basically where you just fill in every day. What is it that God gave me? What did he get me? And every single day there's manna. I pray for it every single day, and every single day God comes through. It might be the friend who calls me out of the blue when I'm really down and feeling alone. Or it might be financially, or it might be, so many different things. And I've taught my kids that too. Look for the manna every day. Look for the good in today. Okay, daddy's having a good day. We can go somewhere in the car together. That's a big deal for us. Oh, about a week ago, we actually all went to church together. That's huge. Luke wants to go. It's just he never feels up to it. But he did. And it was amazing. And we had a beautiful family day. Like that was manna. That was manna for our family. Luke put up a few Christmas lights. We watched Disney Plus. That was manna. Like the good things. We enjoyed each other's company. So I'm going to challenge you today to look for the manna and start recording, because it's amazing to look back and go, whoa, man, he gave me the manna. Anyways, I think that's about what I wanted to share, is just, the ways that I'm finding peace right now, and just realizing that my job is to be Luke's wife and my kid's mom. Like that's it. They're the top priorities. Right now, those are the jobs I have. And so to do the best job that I can, and to know that I was chosen to walk this road. You were chosen to walk whatever path you are walking down. I mean, you probably have everybody, that's something I learned too. Everybody has a story. Every single person has a story. Yours may look much different than mine. Yours may look similar, but whatever it is, you have a story and you are important, and God is walking with you, and you were chosen. You were chosen before the world was created to be where you are today, so that you could be a light for God, that he could use you in other people's lives. Like, that's no small thing. It's a responsibility. So wherever you're at, realize this isn't like, oh, this is my plan B. You know what? It's God's plan A. Like he works all things for good, and he makes beauty from ashes. So even when things are awful and painful and all of that, there's always so much good. So I challenge you today to find the beauty in the ashes. Find something good about your situation, even if you're devastated and life seems overwhelming. And just one more thing that, I struggled with a little bit this past week. And I know others probably struggle with it, is feeling alone. Even though logically everything around you tells you you're not alone. Like, I'm like, okay, we had this fundraiser and all these things, and I have all these friends, like several best friends and all this stuff. But in those moments when you're on the floor crying and there's nobody seeing you, you can feel alone. But guess what? You're not alone. God is there. He sees you. He's collecting your tears in a bottle. And you know what? I'm here. You can email me, Michelle@thepeacecast, and I'll pray for you. I think it's thepeacecast.com. You're not alone. You've got people who love you. You have God, and just know you're not alone. Even, I feel like that's the way the enemy tries to use things against us, is to tell us we're alone, but you're never alone. God says, I will never leave or forsake you. So just know that. So, okay, I think I really am going to wrap it up. I think that's what I wanted to share. Like I said, if you like this, go ahead and give it 5 stars and review it if you'd like to. I'd like to get the word out more about this podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.